Um, we always firmly believe that the environment is really an issue that is important to everybody that visits and lives at the coast. It's not a partisan issue, and it's certainly not an issue that any one sector of the economy has a corner on. And it's really been a pleasure for me to work with Alan over the last 6 months or so on what was really a pretty startling development in Pamlico County in terms of really the blatant disregard of what our basic environmental laws are to protect wetlands, and what became a big concern to the whole county in terms of the loss of, potential loss of almost 4,600 acres of wetlands. And to demonstrate that, I think Alan brought half of Pamlico County with him. Alan is a realtor. He owns a Mariner Realty in Oriental, and certainly knows a lot about environmental rules and environmental programs. He's developed land, sells real estate, and when he saw what was happening and learned from his neighbors to this particular tract of land, he was willing to become very public about it and say this is just not right and something needs to happen. And as a result, the county commissioners became very involved, really called the federal agencies to task over what was not proper implementation of environmental laws, and ultimately succeeded in getting the Environmental Protection Agency to come in and start an enforcement proceeding on this particular case. The issues aren't resolved there yet, but it really does demonstrate that when you have issues like this, community involvement is really critical, and it can't just be the choir, the environmental choir. There really needs to be a diversity of people speaking up on behalf of the environment. So thank you, Alan.
I was beginning to worry if I wasn't going to be able to say a few words or not. So, first of all, I am very honored to receive this award from the North Carolina Coastal Federation. I didn't know that they gave an award called the Pelican Award, so I was very happy when I received a letter from Todd, and I was told that I would be receiving this award. But I feel like I have to recognize other people. I mean, if it wasn't for Todd with the Coastal Federation and Dirk Carter with the Southern Environmental Law Center, if they didn't come down and tour the property, so to speak, then I wouldn't be here today, and we would probably know very little about the problem that was occurring in little old Pamlico County. But in addition to Todd and Dirk, the real guy that we can thank, and he's not here tonight because he's a little bit publicity shy, is a fellow named Buck Jones, who's a farmer in Pamlico County, and he farms right next to this property. So he's been farming the property next to the Atlas tract, we call it, for probably about 20 or 25 years. So he knew the history and everything that had gone on with this property, which had primarily been used for timber management and cutting timber and hunting. And that was really the highest and best use, and it still is the highest and best use. But Buck, again, was the one that alerted me. We've been lifelong friends. He invited me down to ride on his combine, and then he told me what was going on. And I was very shocked when he told me what was happening. I also want to thank Paul Delmar III, who's the chairman of the Pamlico County Commissioners. He was the one that mobilized all the commissioners in Pamlico County and sent the letters to the regulatory agencies and to our representatives, and that's when the ball kind of started rolling. I also want to thank Keith and Melinda Smith, who are here today. They own town.net. They did the really fine article about the Atlas tract and what was going on. And I think from there, the word started spreading pretty quickly. Also, the Pamlico News, our local paper, Ellen Baca with WCTI Channel 12, she was really involved and she did some very good news work on that. And then all the concerned citizens and property owners of Pamlico County. We had a commissioners meeting probably with about 100 people that let the county commissioners know that they wanted something done. And so that really, started the ball rolling. But the reason I became the whistleblower, so to speak, was from talking with my friend and fellow NC State graduate student, Buck Jones, who we went to NC State together and graduated together in 1974, who farms the adjacent land to the Atlas Tract. When Buck told me about this wetland forest conversion of the wetland tract to agricultural land, I was stunned. I had spent about a week on the property about 3 years earlier trying to sell it as hunting forestry land for the prior owner, who was Copper Station. I knew without a shadow of doubt that the vast majority of this 4,700 acres was non-riverine wetland forest. The land clearing company hired by the current owner was busy stripping the land of vegetation and digging ditches to alter the hydrology so they could receive non-jurisdictional permits from the Corps of Engineers. Thus, the last step necessary to convert these wetland forests to agricultural lands. The Corps of Engineers did not do a thorough investigation about the illegal prior ditching that had been done on the property in 1990. They had gone on Google Earth and said the last aerial photos they could see showing ditches was 1993, so they were satisfied that the ditching had probably been done prior to the 1985 Swamp Buster provision of the Food Security Act. So that was their reasoning for allowing the clean out of these illegal ditches, which in essence was just a ploy to deepen the ditches, widen the ditches, and change the hydrology. Anyway, the Swamp Buster provision of the 1985 Food Security Act was written to stop conversion of wetland forests to agricultural lands. And at this point, these issues have not been resolved. Like Todd said, the EPA is now investigating. There's some indication that they think that hydrology has been altered illegally, and I think they've issued a cease and desist to the current owners not to do any more ditching until the investigation is complete. Why this is so important is with Pamlico County, we're just talking about 4,700 acres, but the same type of thing is happening in the Hoffman Forest, and it's happening elsewhere in eastern North Carolina. So this is sort of the litmus test. What happens in Pamlico County is going to determine what happens with the Hoffman Forest. So continued diligence must be taken to prevent further degradation of these valuable wetlands now and in the future.
Thank you very much. That's quite a story, and the Huffman story is yet to unfold, I think. Rachel?